Hi everyone, welcome to episode 13 of Jana Leibniz podcast. A knitting podcast about my knitting adventures, I guess. My name's Nicole, also known as Cola Girl on Ravelry and Cola Girl 74 on Instagram. I also do have a bit of a Twitter feed, not that I do much with it now. You can find that at Cola Girl. And and there's a Ravelry group for my podcast, I guess. Yeah. I'm coming to you from the northeastern suburbs of Adelaide in South Australia. And yeah, it's a bit gloomy out there today. Still nice, cold, wintry weather, which is, it's funny, I don't mind winter because I can wear all of this. And yeah, I feel that you can function better when it's cooler rather than when it's hotter. And I figure that it's more hotter than cold, and winter is only 12 weeks of the year. So yeah, and we're almost at the end of it, one more month to go. So yeah, and this year has been awesome because we've had a real winter. It's been cold, it's been wet, and it's been miserable. So and Adelaide or South Australia has not had a wet winter for many years now. We've had reasonably cold ones. Last year wasn't very cold, in my humble opinion at least. But yeah, so I'm really happy that it's a nice wet winter. I keep looking out the window to outside. Yeah, I've been confided to my bedroom again today, as dear little Scarlett she'd be 2 in a fortnight, so she's not sleeping a hell of a lot during the day anymore. I've been to the hairdresser this morning, and had, been primed, cut and trimmed and waxed and all of the I guess quarterly maintenance that you can have. And they have a bit of a childminding service, which is awesome. And she was out the back playing for a couple of hours while I was having my hair done. So she fell asleep on the way home. So she had a bit of end up having a 10-15 minute nap on the way home. So I think she thinks that was enough for her today, which has been good because then she's been sleeping better at night. So, it's kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So yeah. Well, anyway, today I've got, and it's only been 2 weeks and I'm on what's the word for it? I can't even think. I keep thinking on target, but yeah, I'm being consistent. There's some consistency happening. Last fortnight I wrote the date of the day that I podcasted, and then from that day I started writing some notes for today's podcast, and I put a due date, and that was yesterday. So I'm sort of a day late of what I was going to do, and yesterday it just didn't happen. She didn't want to sleep, so I kept getting very far behind, and there was a few things that I wanted to do to help prepare for this, and it just didn't happen. I thought, well, okay. And I was thinking, I'm getting my hair done today. I'll be able to, I should podcast today. Today meaning it from yesterday, thinking of this yesterday. So I justified it for today, and I have followed through. So, which is good. So, yeah, while I think of it, last episode I didn't tell you what I was wearing. I was wearing my brioche cowl. I think I've explained to it in the last episode, but I should remind myself to say what I've got on, because we all admire everybody's woolens when they're hand knit, don't we? That was my brioche cowl last time from Pearl Bee from Pearl Soho. It was a variation of that that pattern was done in an 8-ply. I tried it in the 8-ply, it was too chunky, and then I did it in a 4-ply, and I much preferred it. And yeah, today this is a Yohji Locatelli cow. I think it's called Incognito. It's from her last book, not the current one with it, that she's done with Vera. It's not from Interpretations, it's one that she did solo before that. So yeah, and then this is in white gum wool, from White Gum Wool, in silver wattle and sagebush, I'm pretty sure it is. So, and I haven't worn it. It's not quite deep enough, but I'm actually quite liking it now that I've actually sat with it around my neck for more than 2 seconds. And yeah, it's nice and warm, out getting in my way, and yeah. So yeah. Okay, so today I've got a finished object. I do have 2 finished objects, but one of them's a test knit and it's still blocking, and I'm not 100% sure whether I'm allowed to show it. So I guess I'm not going to show it. I think I can, but I haven't read up whether I am officially, and I don't want to risk it. So yeah, I've got a finished object, and that only came off the blocking mat about an hour ago. I think I just posted an Instagram photo, so you'll see me wearing it. And I've got some whips. I'll show you the prize that I got from Give Me a Crown cow that they had on last month, their local cow that I won. And yeah, she sent a very generous prize parcel, which is awesome. I've been in the dye pot again, and yeah, I'll tell you some more about that. And I've got some whips, and I've got a little bit of Stash Enhancement, but only because it was really cheap and you couldn't refuse a nice quality yarn at that price. So let's get into a finished object. This is the Spindrift shawl by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, and I did this in what I dyed myself. Was my attempt at speckles that wasn't as speckly as what I thought, but no, that's not the right word. The colours didn't come out the way that I wanted them to, and I think I've explained that too before, because I wanted the colours a little bit more muted and lighter, and because when I guess you mix your colours properly in water, they become more diluted and muted, like they say they're going to be, because they don't have as much pigment. But when you're sort of speckling the colour crystals on top of the yarn, they're going to colour up in the darker, more pigmented colours. So I didn't really take that into consideration, or well, I did, but I didn't. I was hoping that it wouldn't, if that makes sense. So I still like the colour, but I've kind of nicknamed it Not What I Planned. So I don't know how I will get it replicated again, because I ended up over dyeing it as well, just to get a bit more colour saturation. It felt when I first got it out that it was messy, and it didn't look right. So yeah, and her Spindrift shawl, which is a free pattern if you sign up to her newsletter. I'm not sure whether you're able to still do that or not, but I signed up to her newsletter, and you got I think X amount of part newsletter, and you got the free pattern. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's nice and lightweight. The base is MCN, Merino Cashmere Nylon, in a high twist. The more I look at it, the better it is getting, but I don't know how I ultimately feel about high twist. I like a yarn that plumes, but I don't like it to plume too much. So yeah, I'm sort of just kind of experiencing the different yarn bases and the way it's plied to get a concept of what I want out of a project or a yarn. So yeah, but I think I might keep the MCN as long as I can still get it, and that might be one of the main bases in when I do eventually get to this yarn dyeing stuff. Doing it not full time, doing it properly and selling it, should I say. But yeah, I like it, and it's funny, it's not usually colours that I wear a lot of. I'm more the darker, warmer tones, and this is quite light and cool, but so is the shawl itself. It is light and delicate. So yeah, and because it was kind of a speckled dyed yarn, it was calling my name, or this shawl was calling for it. So that's why I decided to do it. That was, now what did I use? 3.75mm needles on my Knit Pros, on my Symphonies, and 4mm. Yeah, it went up. It started off with 3.75s and then went up to 4mm. I think just so it gave it a little bit more ease and drape once you sort of got into it. Nice simple pattern, and the picot edging went by really quickly. So yeah, and then I got the blocking wires out to block it. When there's picot edges, it kind of gives it a bit more symmetry to get at the blocking wires, and you sort of know what you need to do with it. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So now I have, I'll show you what I got from Nina in the Give Me a Crown prize. Oh, I haven't had them yet. I forgot that they were there. She had a local along, which in the Give Me a Crown podcast group, which she's another Australian podcaster in New South Wales. She used to be in Sydney, and now she's moved to country New South Wales. And she lives not too far from Dagio Woolen Mill, which is in Orange in New South Wales. And I won the local knit along, crochet along, local cow craft along last month, and this was the prize in the FO group, which was awesome, which is, you know, kind of what I'm stoked that I won this. And the colours are really nice. The grey is really, I suppose there's a bit of sun glare. The grey is almost, yeah, that's a much truer indication of it. It's almost a real brown toned grey, and it does go really nicely with the brown. And it's 100% alpaca, but that one's in the 4-ply. That's actually, the sun is a little bit glary, but once I put my hand there, it gives a much better, truer indication of the colour, which is cool. And yeah, so they're a local mill in northern New South Wales that just do alpaca. And I haven't found, and I haven't knitted a lot with alpaca, and what I have knitted, it's been fuzzy and it tickles my nose, it sheds a little bit, and the fibres get up my nose and what have you, but this has been alright. And it feels beautiful and soft like alpaca does, but it almost feels like it's like your ethical merinos that still aren't over processed. So I'm not sure whether what oil, or if they do produce, if alpacas produce lanolin like sheep, I'm not 100% sure, but it feels like its natural oil content is keeping the fibres at bay. or maybe like the length of fibre is a better quality of fibre, so it spins and it stays put and the fibres don't move, shall we say. So yeah, and that's what she said the prize was. But when I got the prize package, well, I got a few other bits and pieces. I got a little notions pouch in the raspberries, which is awesome. I have seen these fat quarters and I've been very tempted to buy them, and I saw some at the craft fair last week-ish. I think the weekend, the couple of days after my last podcast, I told you guys that I was going to the craft fair, and I think I saw blackberries and a lot of tomatoes and onions and what have you in the fat quarters, but I didn't see any raspberries, so I'm stoked that I got that. And then there was a little stitch marker as well, and I think it is a pine cone, which is quite cute. And then there was some of her hand-dyed minis that she's been doing. Let's get that again. Yeah, quite nice. And they'll go into my Cozy Memories blanket, which is being very neglected. And then a couple more of what the sun, no, it's still a bit glary. The sun, yeah, these are from, this one's a Regia. And this one's a Bendigo. Woolen Mills, the luxury 4-ply. Yeah. And then there was some samples of some soaps and some lollies and some tea and a nice little card. Cool, which is awesome. And yeah, and then a postcard from Adagio Mills. So check them out. So thank you very much, Nina. Nina started watching my podcast, so hi to you. Yes, so that was the prize. I'm just trying to think what to do next. My show notes aren't very thorough, shall we say, this time around. I thought I could have procrastinated and been a bit more thorough with them, or I could have just gone on and done something, gone on and podcasted and not procrastinated, which I need to have a drink. I haven't had my afternoon coffee. Now, okay. Let's go. Okay. Let's go into whips. So, I'm casting off at the hairdresser this morning. I started casting off the Imbue shawl by Lisa Much from MBK, Northbound Knitting in Canada. This is to go in the Canadian along that the Grocery Girls are doing, and Knitting in Stitches. They were the two that I was going to enter into. And see that there? It's not a very good front photo. It's a nice photo, but it doesn't really show off the shawl. So basically, it is a shawl that I just heard something hum like a phone, and I don't think I brought my phone in here. I thought I left it on charge. Maybe I haven't. So I'm casting off. Now it's supposed to go this way. And I have knitted it in my hand dyed. And this was done in a 4-ply ethical merino. That's 100%, yeah, 100% merino. And I was worried, it wanted 630 yards of the grey and then only 130 yards of the variegated purple. Let's just go variegated purple. And I knew it, and I only had had 100 grams of each of the colours. So I kind of knew that I was going to run out of the grey, but I was going to let it go and see where I go. So the bottom part where it's all purple should be grey in the pattern, but I've improvised. And because it's all short rows, it's basically started here, over here, and then short rows this way to the end. And so it gave it a bit of symmetry before you were supposed to cast off. I think you got to, once you got to 300 and something stitches, what does it say? 319 stitches, and then you cast off. But that ended up leaving it shy of about 6 stitches to the short rows to the opposite end. So I thought, just to give it symmetry, and because it was a different colour, I'll just do another short row and did it to the end. So the colour tapers off evenly to one side and then goes that way. So I haven't cast off a hell of a lot, only that much, and then it will get blocked. And go with my grey jacket that I'll wear a bit in winter. So yeah, I've got a few grey charcoal-y things. Yes, I really like how the purple, you can't really see it goes grey. It highlights a little bit of, no, you can't really see it very well. It's getting washed out incredibly. There's a lot more red in it than what I thought there was going to be, which I always get curious of how things are going to, when you dye stuff, how it's going to knit up. So that's that one. Now that was done on, let's just read what it says to use. I'm pretty sure I followed the instructions of what needles to use. Is it US size 8s? So they are, I haven't a clue. I only know it in millimetres. But the needle gauger that I've got has the US sizing next to it. I'm assuming they were either 3.5 or 4mm needles. Hang on, let's go back on my old notes and see what it says. No, it doesn't say anything there. I didn't write it down. I don't think that matters too much. When you if you want to do the pattern, you follow it yourself. So yeah. Now, what else have I been working on? I have been. No, that doesn't have anything in it. This one does. The SKP, what is it? Simple SKYP socks by Adrienne Coop. Is these guys? There we go. And Scarlett is yelling out for me. She wants to come and help me podcast and get into everything else. So I've almost finished one foot. I think I was going to get to the end to when it changed colour again and then start toe shaping. So yeah, these are coming along nicely, slowly but nicely. The shawl's been taking most of my knitting time, and the Spindrift shawl took most of my knitting time from me. That's done on 2.5mm Knit Pro Symphony double pointed needles, and the yarn is a Spotlight sock yarn, the Noir sock yarn that you get at Spotlight. I think you can still, I'm not sure whether you can still get that colour or not. What else have I been doing? I did a bit more of Silas's glove. I'm just about ready to start. That's right, I put the thumb stitches on a bit of yarn. So yeah, I'm about ready to start divvying up for the fingers. He keeps asking me every morning, are my gloves ready? Are my gloves ready? When he's freezing just before school. And it's like, you can put more clothes on when you get to go to schooling. But he just rolls his eyes at me, as what teenagers do. Now this pattern is a fingerless mixed pattern, obviously, by Astrante, by Koju. What's that one there? It's a free pattern. And now you can hear that thundering is Silas playing silly buggers with Scarlett. I think they're having crawling races. And I made these for Elijah, and I thought, well, I'll make some for Silas as well. And he likes the black, and they're done in Bendigo Woolen Mills 4-ply in the black. I'm not sure whether the black is called black or it's called Raven or Noir or something. It's black. And yeah, I did do a few rows, but I haven't paid much attention to it in the last fortnight. And they're on, I think I've used slightly bigger needles than what it has asked for. I think I used 2.25 for the cuff, and they're 3mm for the hand part of it. So they're slightly bigger than what the pattern has said. I'll get them done by winter. And I did promise that I would show you the Melisandre socks that I had only done 4 or 5 rows on in the last podcast, and that's all I've done. I haven't done anything else, but that's them there. It's a lot pinker yeah, it's a little bit washed out still. They're quite hot pink with a bit of purple and a really marony dark red, and yes, I really like the colour. And it's got even normal red through it as well. And the Melisandre socks are by another free pattern, Kimberly Piper. Rivalry. I did start doing her Edard socks, but the cables there was too much cabling that I thought would be uncomfortable on a sock, and it was really pulling and quite tight to knit with, so I didn't think it was going to work out very well. And these are toe up. I'm a little concerned, even though it's quite a lot of rib, that they're not really going to fit me, but I have put them on a few times, and I think once I've done one and leave it on the sock blocker while I'm doing the other one, it will sort itself out, hoping. The yarn is mostly Park Wool, which they're based in Kimber, which is the west coast, out that way. The west coast of South Australia. I used to work out near Ceduna, a place called Nungi Competa, many years ago. No, 20 plus years ago. Yeah, so many years ago. I used to work for a racehorse trainer out there, and yeah, so that's how I knew where Kimber was, because they used to have a race course there. I'm not sure whether they still do. It's been a while since I've been that far west. And what is the colour? The colour is I can't think of it. No, I can't. I think I've got a project page on my Ravelry page for it. I really need to get them done. I did want to finish them and enter them in the Grocery Girls second summer of socks. I haven't even finished the first one, but it was designed to spend the summer finishing off pet socks that have been hanging around on the needles for a while, and that one has been, because it's been going since last year. Late last year, but still we're almost in August. So yeah, and I can't wait because Mount Pleasant Fibre and Fleece Festival is on, which is about 40 minutes that way. In the hills of Adelaide, is on, which is, I guess, South Australia's Bendigo, which we look forward to each year. And yeah, I think I bought that last year. Did I buy it last year? I did go last year, didn't I? Yeah, I did buy it last year. And I hope to buy a little bit more from there this year than just one skein. So, Jane, make sure you've dyed up some sock blanks and bought them with us. Yeah. Sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming for the store holders there, especially if they've just been to Bendigo, because their stocks have been heavily depleted, and then they've got under a month turnaround to dye up more stock and ship it, take it to Bendigo, take it to Mount Pleasant with them. And hopefully, with any luck, I'll have a store there next year. You heard it here. Yeah, so that's that one. I think they're done on those socks. Usually I do they are done on 2.5. They're the reason why I've had to buy a second pair of 2.5mm double pointed needles, is because they've been hanging around on the needles for a while. So I thought I would get these monkey socks finished, but I haven't. I haven't done much of them at all. Well, I've done a little bit because I only just started the cuff, but I haven't picked them up for a few days. They've not excited me. So they're my second monkey sock. So I've got one done. That's the second one. So this is the yarn is by Stranded with Oz in her Aussie sock base. I'm not sure what the colour is, what the colour's called. Yeah, it doesn't put the colour names on her tags. And yeah, she's another local dyer. strandedinoz.com.au, and they were the needles that she sells as well. And yeah, that's so you can get a bit of it gets washed out. That's nice there. That one, and you can see good old monkey socks by Cookie A. I didn't even get my sock blockers out. There we go. There's the one done. And they're a little bit shorter than what I like, but I followed the pattern. So I think if I do monkey socks again, I will do 7 repeats instead of just the 6. And I know when I was doing it, going, oh, I reckon I should do another repeat. I said, no, just do what the pattern says. Do as you're told. And so I did do as I told. But yes, I think that is all my whips that I have been working on. Let's go into me being in the dye pot. Let's go and crinkle a bit. I got some organic merino, some undyed organic merino, and so I've had a play with it. It's lovely and soft, and I think it's chain plied, and I dyed up this one. I'm just going to tilt my blinds down a bit. I've got timber Venetians and they let the sun in quite nicely. Sometimes it's a bit too much. So yeah, I had to go, there's nice. Yeah, so this one has been reskeined, and this one hasn't. And so you can see that there's more patches of pinks into white. And yeah, I'm not sure whether tonal and semi-solid are the same things. This is probably a little bit more tonal. There's a little bit more variation in colour. Just wait for the, yeah, so you can see the sort of the very difference in colour, and yeah, which I'm thinking, it reminds me very much of Baby Pink. So I might call her It's a Girl. And I've got a blue that I think if I dye up blue will be very much the same, like the baby blue colour. So yeah, that was just my play on that one. And then I did this one too. So let's see. So again, the top one has been reskeined. So this was, every time I tried speckling again, and it kind of is speckled, but when I put black in it, it very much dilutes quickly and spreads everywhere. That's why it's gone that purpley grey. Look, and I'm thinking, oh, it's not what I wanted, not what I wanted, not what I wanted. But the more and more I look at it, the more and more I really like it. So I'll show you. This is the one that I haven't skeined yet. So you can see where there's patches of, what did I use? Purple and green and red and black. Did I use a blue? I can't remember whether I used a blue. That will be my secret. But yeah, and then you've got, when it's been reskeined, it's gone quite variegated looking. So I'm not sure where reskeining, I'm not sure about the whole idea of the reskeining thing. Reskeining neatens off your skeins, but it does change the appearance of your yarn. It doesn't, and you just, I guess, need to watch out where you can see where some people don't reskein their yarn and they want to give off the blobs of colour. They want it to they want that effect. So yeah, and they want to show off that effect when they're showcasing their yarn. So yeah, so you can see how that gives off blobs of yarn, where that gives off a real variation of the different bits of colour. So I guess it just comes down to the dyeer's choice, the way that they want to show off their yarn, doesn't it? So yeah, that's the two lots of colour that I've done this week. This reminds me something to do with dragons. I don't know why, but that's where I keep coming back to finding a name for it. And that's, yeah, the colours, that one, that's the colour. I'll probably end up naming it something completely different, but yeah, that's where I keep thinking Dragon's Breath, but Dragon's Breath, you think more fire and red and really dark and harsh and aggressive, where this is more grey and more about perhaps its skin colourings, perhaps, yeah, rather than it's the fire it breathes. Just me rambling. And then, okay, so I will go to almost finished. Taking charge of my stash. I suppose this is more, I get, no, this would be, because I end up doing it a bit monthly, and being that it's, what is it, the 28th of July, excuse me, I've got the sniffles. This would be take charge of my stash for July. So up to date, stash out is 2.895 kilos. And then my test knit was 90 grams. I'm going to add that in because it is officially finished, but it's just blocking. And the Spindrift shawl, which was 100 grams. So that brings me up to 3.085. And then stash in has been 3.050 kilos. And then the Adagio, the 2 skeins of Adagio, 250 gram skeins plus 100 grams. And then I've got 250 grams of an acquisition that I'll show you in a minute. So stash in is 3.4 kilos. It's getting a little bit out of control. So I'm officially not going to buy any yarn for 2 weeks until Mount Pleasant, which is on the 13th of August. So it's just over 2 weeks. So I'm down 315 grams. But I'm about to cast off the Imbue, and I really need to finish a pair of socks. So that might help it out a bit more into my favour. And I think I just need to knit like a mad woman for the next couple of weeks. Maybe I should get back into doing my Cozy Memories blanket, so that, you know, do a heap of them, and even my weekender blanket, the crocheted Cozy Memories. I should do a bit of that, and because they have been a bit neglected over the past month, 6 weeks, 2 months. Only because I've had a few deadlines to do. And yeah, I'll show you in a minute what I'm planning on casting on, because I've got another test knit coming up too. So yeah, so I'm 315 grams down for the year. Then we've got Stash Dash. So and then that's done in kilometres, where take charge of your stash is more done in grams of stash in, stash out, where Stash Dash is more how far you've gone. So it's measured in kilometres and metres. So today I'm done, I'll do it in metres, 2,786.59 metres, so almost 3 Ks, plus my test knit, which was 151 metres, and my Spindrift shawl was 365 metres. That brings me up to 3,302 metres, 0.79 metres. So just over 3 Ks. I think I might just leave it at the 5K. So yeah, and that's what done. So my small acquisition, when the guild was at the, and I'll do guild news in all in one, when the guild was at the craft fair earlier in the month, they had a stall which I think was quite successful, because on the Saturday, because that's a craft fair that we're allowed to sell stuff at, where a lot of the other ones we're not allowed to, otherwise we have to pay the exorbitant thousands of dollars just to have your stall there to sell stuff for the weekend, where it's usually only if you're just there to promote your guild or your club, it's only $100 or so, when if you're there to sell stuff it costs you thousands. So we opt out. We're at this particular Stitches and Craft Show, you're allowed to sell, but because you're still a guild, they're a little bit still lenient on how much they want to charge you. And always stash acquired or yarn acquired from people's destashes or deceased estates that the guild acquires, and I got 5 skeins of Mission Falls 100% merino for $5. So it's in a must. I suppose you can't. It's still wrapped up. It's in a mustardy green and a charcoal. And there is a colourwork beanie that is in a knit scene, one of my last knit scenes that I bought, which I haven't bought any for I think a couple now. I've stopped buying magazines. I used to buy Knit Scene, Interweave, Vogue Knitting and the Knitter religiously and just have them stashed, and then I've stopped buying them, being that I guess my pattern buying, I wanted to sort of more give back to the pattern creators, so I've been more buying or using individual patterns. So it's more the designer that gets my dollars rather than a publishing company. So yeah, but yeah, there's a beanie, a starchy beanie in there that's a bit of colour work that I think I might try and tackle when I get a few things off the needles. Or I might do something else with it. I don't have much real yummy, soft around the neck 8-ply, so I found, or I've got a lot of it, so I've got full garment quantities of it, or not very much, one to four balls of it, shall we say. So yeah, I think that's what that's going to be. So yeah, now a couple of things that I've printed off. Sort of double this, sort of do this in two things. Give out a bit of podcast love and tell you what's coming up on my needles as well. The Bakery Bears podcast, Kay, offered a 50% off her patterns that she's got for sale in Ravelry, and she had a 50% off sale, which I thought awesome, because her patterns aren't very expensive if you work and live in pound and sterling, but when you convert it to Australian dollars, it works out to be a bit rich for what they are. But she had a 50% off sale, and so I got basically two for the price of one. So I bought the Duchess of Devonshire pattern, which I've admired since she launched it last year sometime, and the Misselina shawl, which is a sort of a short, not very deep shawl, but it's got a nice cable, so even could be a shawl for the fellas as well, which I think Dan has got a grey one that he has for himself as well, her husband. So I quite like that, and so I bought those two. And then there is a test knit that I'm going to do for Truly Myrtle, which she's an audio podcast. I don't get to listen to audio podcasts very often, but when I end up probably on the days that I drive to Guild, when I'm in the car on my own because my children groan and whinge over it, I will listen to Truly Myrtle or Curious Handmade. They're probably the two most that I will listen to most often. And then there's a couple others that I haven't tried yet. What has she done? I think she's getting up to mischief and getting a bit ratty. So I think I might need to finish up. Okay, I'm back. She's alright. Gave her a bottle. Her other brother's just got home, so yeah. So where was I? So yes. Do a test knit for Truly Myrtle, and that doesn't have to be done till the end of August, so I should have plenty of time to do that. And it's done in fingering weight, so I've got plenty of that. Duchess of Devonshire is another fingering weight shawl, got plenty of that. But the Messalina shawl is done in 8-ply. So the alpaca classic that I won last month, I think I might do that in that, because it's nice and soft around your neck. I've got Cleveland Country, but I think because it's going to get, well, I've even got some of the Country Naturals, which is a bit softer. I might even use that. Yeah, who knows? who knows until I cast on, really. And then, yeah, so it's funny. Stuff that I've been doing lately that has needed to be finished and has a purpose has been flailing, or not flailing, like taking forever, not feeling inspired to finish. Something that, you know, I got an impulse to cast on, or an impulse to do, like the Spindrift shawl and the Imbue shawl, are going along swimmingly and are almost done. But yeah, I really probably need to batten down the hatches and get things done, because a lot of it is almost done. But yeah, but as you know, it happens. So yeah, there's a little bit of podcast love for the Bakery Bears and Truly Myrtle. Another one that Give Me a Crown, which is another Aussie podcaster that I've been watching, and Spicy Homemaker. She seems really nice. So they had a little bit of correspondence on her Ravelry group, and she's very encouraging and loves to include and acknowledge everybody, which is awesome. And yeah, she doesn't seem to be a cash for comment either, so she's quite happy to promote people. And yes, she has been asked to, you know, she has been given bits and pieces, and she does promote what she's been given and what have you, which I'm sure we all do. But yeah, it is nice that she's quite community minded, as in the community of knitting people around the world, which is awesome. And who else? Oh, Hannah from Rosehip Knits, which she's down in Tasmania. She's great as well. I've been watching her fairly religiously. And who else do I watch? Little Bobbin. And Inside Number 23, I've been watching a bit. And The Knitting Expat. I kind of watch, there's ones that I will watch and religiously watch, like The Grocery Girls and Little Bobbins and Rosehip Knits and The Spicy Homemaker and The Bakery Bears. As soon as they come out, I was like, I've got to watch them. And then there's some that are going, oh, and The Little Yellow Uke as well. And it's funny, Little Yellow Uke, Zena comes up Monday morning, and so while I'm putting my makeup on, I'm watching her podcast here, sitting here putting makeup on, and I'm watching her podcast, and Scarlett's usually playing around on the floor or getting into mischief or wanting me to put makeup on her as well. It's amazing that, yeah, she's been fascinated with that from the get-go. She's so girly, and I haven't done anything to make it like that. It's funny how, yeah, it's of her own mind and of her own doing. I think that's all I have to tell you guys today, or talk to you guys about, or want to share with you. I must get back to knitting my Cozy Memories blanket. I know when I jump into bed at night and the electric blanket's on flat out, and I keep thinking, I just need a blanket on over the top. I really should get one of the two blankets that I've got on the needles done. And it just sort of weighs down a bit more, feels a bit heavy, so you feel a bit warmer on you. Because once I've been in bed for a while, you sort of it becomes a bit of a sauna in there, and it's nice and warm, and you wake up in the middle of the night and you're hot, and it's like, get everything off me. But when you first go to bed, you're freezing your butt off. Yeah, on that note, hopefully, I reckon I'll be due to podcast just after Mount Pleasant, so I'll be able to show you all bits and pieces of that. Hopefully I might even do a bit of filming around there and give you guys a looky and see what's there. And even some people that have never been, that are local watchers, can see what happens as well. Yeah, I think it's funny because it usually coincides with Scarlett's birthday, because 2 years ago I missed out on going because I got kept in hospital to have Scarlett. Yeah, being that she was a 6 weeks preemie, because she wasn't growing inside me. And yeah, as I've explained before, we had a knot in the umbilical cord and she wasn't getting the nourishment. But you couldn't see that on any scans. You didn't notice until they, after a C-section, they sort of go, that's what the problem was. So yeah, so that she's a little bit small, but she's growing. She's not, it'd be interesting to see how tall she is at 15. She's very cluey and she knows what's going around and very with it and is talking and communicating and she knows what's going on. And yeah, she's a dear little thing. And even, I talk a lot about her, probably because she's around me all the time. And Elijah and Silas, they're sort of 11 and 14 and go to school and kind of are starting, I guess, to have a bit of their own life, where Scarlett's only 2, so she's still very codependent on me. So and I think that's about it for today. Should stop rambling on and let you guys go. I got dinner cooking in the oven. We've got some beef ribs, do sort of Asian style, so they're braising in the oven. They've been on since about 2 o'clock. It's almost 5, and yeah, have some Asian greens with it, and yeah, be yummy. There's been braising in a spiced water, I guess, that I put star anise and tangelo peel, which is because I had that in the fridge, and cinnamon quills and star anise, bay leaves, some what are they? Szechuan peppers. What else did I put in there? Some soy sauce and some ginger and some garlic. So it's been braising in there for a couple of hours, and we'll probably make like a sticky, what's it called? Barbecue, what's it called? I've got a jar of it. Oh, what is it called? It's called barbecue something. A sticky barbecue sauce to go on top. I'll have that. So yeah, on that note, have a great evening. Thanks for watching me. Awesome that the subscribers keep climbing gradually. And thanks so much for subscribing. Give me the thumbs up if you can. If you know how to do it. I know I don't do it a lot on the podcasts that I watch, but I try to. And leave me a comment. Join in the Ravelry group. I'm going to start another cow soon. Might sort of, between now and the next podcast, I will sort out dates and what have you. And yeah, I'm thinking shawls and socks. We're heading into spring. We're heading into the southern spring, the northern winter, so it's in between seasons. So the shawls and socks will be lightweight but still nice accessories to knit up. And it might be a good time for people to start thinking of Christmas. I should stop looking at myself and look in the mirror. Look in the camera. Oh dear. Yeah, so on that note, I'll say goodbye. Thanks for watching again. Enjoy your knitting, guys. See ya.